What's happening, boys? We all good?
No,
Yeah.
still angry.
Everybody's going to be so happy. We've got stuff to moan about. We've got things to complain about. We've got Hearts defeats to discuss. The season's finished. We've imploded. The bubbles burst. The wheels have came off. Relegation staring us on the face. Everything. We'll go through it all. We'll go through all the emotions. We'll get it all off our chest. It's been 17 games since we last were able to be upset, kick off, tears and snorters. So, strap yourselves in. We've got plenty to greet about. What's been happening, boys? She's all good, Handel?
I'm fine, I suppose. Was an interesting day on Sunday, so out in the town for a bit with Kev's brother, which was interesting. The only dark spot in the day was the football. Feels like I've not been at Tynecastle for ages. The last home game, I don't think I was at for whatever reason, and I'm going to miss next week as well, so I feel a wee bit out of touch.
Feels like a distant memory since we were cuddling and dancing our way along Gorgie Road because we beat Celtic, wasn't it?
That's right. But other than that, man, all good. And obviously, I'm back in the land of digital techno culture. Finally got one of the cameras that was in storage out of the garage and hooked it all up. So,
well, it's good to see you again. Kev, what's been happening? That's a very nice jumper.
Thanks, mate.
Tell us more.
Tell us more. One from our new range of Gorgie merch. It's actually good. It's quite cozy, actually. Perfect for winter in the sauna. Other than that, yeah, just moseying on along. It's a bit, depressing, but I thankfully seen you today, so that was a highlight of my day, Corbett.
Kev, I was looking phenomenal at work today. I'm not even joking.
I still question the black shoes, white socks combo, but
Kev, come on.
If anybody can rock it,
Kev, you should know by now. Old lady catnip, they love me. They absolutely love me. I was looking dino at work. Tam, where could you buy these lovely hoodies?
You can buy this version as well in black and white from our shop on scopebranding.co.uk, and then click into the stores and you can go to This Is My Story pod.
Tam, are you at gunpoint? You feel like you're getting a ransom note.
Why we don't get ad reads.
I know.
Place a bet with Coral. Coral is a good betting site. No wonder they sent that back.
But you can click in our bios and all that sorts to get your hands on some lovely Christmas gifts for
Tam. It's links in bio. We have to talk like the kids own the internet. Link is in the bio.
Link is in the bio. Like, subscribe, smash that like button.
Exactly. Come on, you were told.
Tam, I give you one challenge and you failed already. Is smash the subscribe button.
Oh, fuck's sake.
That gets us wrong. You can like it all you want. That doesn't get anything for us.
Press that bell. Press that bell to make sure you got notifications on.
I invested in a ring light after my Alan Brazil appearance on Sky Sports when I had the big beetroot face, man. Everybody was like, "Are you all right?" Something happened to you. I've not seen you for ages. Ken, that was before it. This was before the anger, before the tears and snorters. Right. Thanks to everybody on YouTube. We're obviously live on YouTube, so any questions, any comments, anything you want us to discuss, fire them up. We'll just lay it all out. We'll discuss Saturday's first defeat of the season away at Aberdeen. I think the word that I've said on repeat was predictable. What's that, 2016, the last time we won there, about the same time since they last beat us at home. We should just stop playing the games, just agree on a scoreline. Right, you can win 1-0 and we'll win 1-0 the next time, because it's a total waste of a journey going up to watch the same thing on repeat. We'll talk about that. Look forward to the weekend. We play Motherwell at Fir Park. It was very difficult to have a wee chuckle at Hibernian getting battered by them last night, knowing that we go there on Saturday to probably do the same thing, but we'll discuss. And just look we'll just talk over anything that's happened. I don't think me or Randall were on after the Dundee United game. We can just talk about all things Hearts and then everything in between. Sound good, boys?
Sure
Yep.
does.
Sounds ideal.
Kev, any news? It'll all be injury focused, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it seems to be, that's the outlook for the press conference that McInnes had today. But in the last few days, there's been a bit more sort of positive news. Shankland's back training. I think there was a quite clear lack of cohesion between certain parts of the squad on Sunday. So yeah, Shankland's back in training. As long as there's no adverse reaction to his fall that he had last week, we should be able to see him back in the squad for Saturday's game. On slightly, good news as well, Benny is also back running. He's not joined up with the actual team for actual proper training, but he's out running again. They're assessing his hamstring injury, but Ayew looks like he'll be out for at least 4 to 6 weeks. So what that really means is we'll see him probably just after the split, if at all, again this season. So from that point of view, that was probably the only bit of bad news. Finley's been getting an injection in his ankle, seemingly a bit of swelling and pain there. But again, they generally think that it'll be good for Saturday's game at Fir Park. And really, I just wanted, we all probably agree, is the backing that the fans have given the club. So the next two sort of games that we've got away from home are both now sellouts. So it definitely shows that, with a product on the park that everybody believes in, what we're able to show is that the fans back the team, following in numbers. Total sellout at Celtic Park, total sellout at Fir Park this coming Saturday. So, yeah, just a shout out generally to everybody who's put their hand in their pockets at a time that's, we all know perfectly well, it's financial restrictions all around, but to still see the numbers that are travelling with the teamers, absolutely superb.
I think the good news as well, Kev, was actually that Derek McInnes addressed the fact that we suffer from so many hamstring injuries that they're going to launch a full investigation into why. I believe the incident happened on the very pitch that Scotland refused to train on last year. Or remember, there was a controversy about them. They were supposed to train at the Oriam, and they said that it wasn't up to scratch, etc. So they went back to their normal base. I believe it was on the very said pitch. But again, Benny's had hamstring injuries. Ayew, Shankland, Pollock, Neuenhoff. I forgot that Neuenhoff even played for us, and I forgot that Xander Carlton was even here until they did that golf challenge where they were trying to hit the balls off the crossbar. So that's good. That needs addressed. I know that one of the big things of the club's agenda in the background is potentially looking at investing in a new club-owned training facility. But obviously that'll be way down in the future. So it was good to see that the actual thought, no, this is a bit. We've spoke about it at length. We get far too many injuries that last for way too long. So there must be something in it. So it's good to see that the club are doing something about it.
Aye, definitely.
Any else, Kev?
No, that's as you rightly said. That's about the majority of the news as such. We'll be getting soon into a period of rumours with January's transfer window and etc. So that'll be definitely interesting times.
No, you want to talk about the big news of last week?
If you say what I think you're going to say,
the big qualification, no. No, all right.
The B team got through the East of Scotland Shield, wasn't it, or something like that?
I've only just tuned in. I wasn't even sure what you meant, but I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" But
I was going to say something.
No, I'm shut up.
Is the voting still open for the foundation as well?
Closed
last Friday.
Do we know who won, or
wait to the AGM?
Wait to the AGM. Okay, cool. because obviously we had that. Normally we would have tried to do some interviews with him and broadcast who was going where or whatever, but obviously we fell out with him last year, so we'll not be doing that anytime soon. But that's fine. Cool. Right. We've beat around the bush enough. What do you want to talk about now? Do you want to talk about anything else?
It was nearly snowing here today. It's been really cold.
Yeah.
I've put my central heating on for the first time this week, like since fucking February or something. So, anything else you want to talk about?
Well, we got you can't really see it, but my garden lights. I've got my garden done, so I've got garden lights on the fence, and the light goes up and down, right? But on the top, there's actually a wee bit where it can puddle. So we were sitting here the other night, and Alana was like, "Oh my god, the fence is sparking! It's on fire! It's on fire!" So I've run it like, "Oh my god!" So it isn't. It's just literally water splashing in the water, but the light shining it, so it makes it look like it's like sparking and on fire and that. So tune in tomorrow. I can do a live. We can
Well,
do
only if we can get the Baywatch music playing in the background. I know it's not the weather for it, but fuck it, be good.
It's one of those things that you run over and then you're like, "Why am I here? What am I supposed to do?" I have no idea what I'm looking at. I did that thing where it's like your car breaks down and you get out and you like kick the tire and you're like, "Aye, broke." You're like,
waggle the cables a bit, but looks fine to me. Better phone the guy.
Needs fixed. That. Did I ever tell you about the time that so my family, my in-laws are all car folk. They run car garages and all their comfort. I sit there like a wee boy at the end of the table where they're talking about V8s and different cars, and I'm like, "I like red ones." And they're like, "Shut up." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry." I got a flat tire and I phoned my father-in-law to be like, because he's got a recovery truck. I was like, "Can you come pick me up?" He's like, "How?" I was like, "Because I've got a flat tire." He's like, "You can fix that yourself." And I was like, of course I can. I was like, "Come and get me in the recovery truck." He's like, "No, I'm not driving the recovery truck all the way out there for you to pick you up with a flat tire. You have a spare in the boot." I was like, "There?" I was like, "Where are they?" So they show me how to do it, and then he talked me through what to do. Told me how to take it off and put it back on. I drove about 400 feet and was like, "That looks like a wheel." And my wheel, I never tightened it or anything like that. I just put the wheel on, put the wheel nuts back on. Didn't know you were supposed to feel like my wheel went flying past me. Before my father-in-law to be like, "You definitely have to come and get me now because I've only got 3 wheels." Like, "What?"
Right, I'm definitely not with you on that. I can definitely change a wheel on a car.
Oh, well, I thought I could. I could put a wheel on a car. I just didn't realize.
Just kind of get it to stay on.
I just kind of get it to stay on. What else happened?
That's brilliant. Absolutely superb.
Anything else been going down?
I never won the Euro Millions on Tuesday, boys. I know I've always said that if I win the Euro Millions and the super duper jackpot, I'd look after you, so you didn't have to work again, and we can just talk about Hearts all the time. Just have a 24-hour rolling broadcast or whatever.
See, I've always advertised how much of a dickhead I am. I always dream about winning the Euro Millions, but in my dream, I still go to work just so I can be like, "Day stuff, I'll pay you. Pay 10 grand to bite a bit of your finger off. Just the tip of your finger. Here's 10 grand cash. I'll give you it right now. Just bite the bit of your finger off." Like, that's the type of guy I would be. I would just sit about work still and just torment people.
That's exactly what we would do. We'd have Tan on the screen like this, and
exactly
give the horrible challenges. So,
and I'd do it for 10 grand.
You did it for that hoodie.
The jackpot's millions and millions and millions this week, so you never know. If I win, you're dancing for me.
I'm so much a tight arse. I dream about winning it, but I wouldn't pay the £2 for a fucking ticket. So
that's you top to tail.
You just want 3 numbers in the bonus ball for like 15 quid or something like that. And go about telling everybody you won the lottery. Right. We might as well get in it. Let's talk about.
Here we go.
Let's talk about Sunday. What's Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Aye.
What's your overall thoughts and feelings? What did you discuss last week after the Dundee United game?
It's a while ago. I think we
the boys did brilliant. Like, you smashed every viewing record on YouTube. I think it was unreal. The viewing figures are through the roof, man.
So every everyone's for fuck's sake. Yes.
That's
Everyone's
exactly why.
two
That's
favourite
why.
people,
You
so-
you just watched it 437 times just to try and boost
I'm
the
not even
number.
being cheeky when I asked this, right? But I genuinely haven't looked.
It's about 400. Aye.
It's about 1,000 less than usual, to be honest. So,
All those grannies that just check in just to see Corbett.
Just to see the hair.
That's the problem.
Just to see Corbett's here again. It's looking good. It's looking good now. Like,
no, it was quite. I imagine it'll be quite similar to what we discussed this week. It was about the shape, the team that came out, the changes that were made. Missing Benny, which then obviously added into who we were missing going into Sunday. There, it was proper spine of the team stuff that on Sunday, wasn't it? That was gone.
well, I think the disappointing thing for me is that we're now 6 years into Benny and Devlin, and we still don't have a plan B for them. The fact that we do lose so much control in the midfield with just one of them dropping out is massively concerning. And it's not a dig at Magnussen or whatever. I'm pretty sure that given time and game time, he'll come up to where we need him to be. But it has been so glaringly obvious that we're just lacking quality in the middle of the park.
Devlin was good on Sunday, but he was doing the job of 2-3 players at times. He was tried everything, which maybe not good, but he was.
I didn't want to go to the game that happened at 8 o'clock on the Saturday night. Celtic miles below their best, and they get a winner from their 6 or their 8 that can pick up the ball and smash it in for 20, 25 yards or whatever, and we just don't carry that threat whatsoever. I think that every position in the pitch is scored except for the 2 centre midfielders still. We're now finished the first round of games. That's something that needs to be addressed pronto. And I'm not blaming Benny and Devlin or whatever for not winning on Sunday, but it just jumped off the page immediately that it shouldn't be lost on anybody that Celtic's goal at Tynecastle came for their deep lying 6, their winning goal on Saturday night that kept the pressure on us and dug them at a hole come from their deep lying 6. And as much as Devlin was good on Sunday, he never created anything, never looked like scoring, never looked like carrying any of that type of threat. He's brilliant at winning the ball back and passing it to other people. But when there's the quality or the lack of quality around about him, it's just so glaring and obvious that we didn't have Benny. Was there any jump off the page for the starting 11? Obviously the injuries, Shankland missed out, Halkett was suspended, Benny's obviously injured. Was there any surprises in the starting 11 for you?
No surprises as such with who was available for me. You look at it on paper, that front three that we were playing with should have more than enough sort of quality and create enough chances or make chances. But I think they could have played for another 90 minutes on Sunday and they wouldn't have scored. But it was just a bit of an off day from them. Other than that, I think playing McEntee at right back, I think we need to get moving on to that at some point soon. Hopefully either a new body in January or Borchgrevink, when he came on, we looked actually all right, but he just doesn't seem fancied, does he?
Well, that was actually addressed by McInnes, was that the plan was to actually play Borchgrevink at right back on Sunday. But there was a couple of, I'm not going to say issues, but there was just a couple of things that they just decided that actually the right thing to do is not put him through a full 90 minutes, given that he's not really played a great deal of football since the actual injury itself. But I think you're right. McEntee was brought in to effectively either play in front of the back 4 or play in that midfield position with a bit more steel. I'm not going to say he's going to replace Benny. I don't think he's got that same quality in what you see from Benny. But as Corbett's already said, that kind of element needs to be addressed. It's more the quality rather than quantity at times that needs to be looked at.
Yeah. Hindsight is obviously dead easy now that we're past the games or whatever, but actually when you look at St Mirren and where we struggled you look at Dundee United and where we struggled, and then look on Sunday, where we struggled as well. You think that McEntee would have been perfect to play alongside Devlin in those games, just to give us a bit more robustness in the middle of the park, and let Devlin do the busy running about stuff, and let him do the sort of strongman stuff. Again, that's all hindsight when you look into it there, because Sunday's a really weird game to digest, because I was more concerned with how we played against Dundee United than I was watching the game back for Sunday. We take any number of the chances, and like even the opening 10 minutes, Findlay misses for the free kick. I think he's probably going to be offside, but you still put the ball in the net and then take the medicine thereafter.
Right.
The Milne chance where he hits the bar, he's got to do better there. Kabori misses a sitter, Magnuson misses a sitter, Braga misses a sitter. We got into good positions all over the park, and just that final decision just seemed a bit off on Sunday. But again, Tam, you're right. I think we could be playing now. I don't think we would have scored. Just one of those things. And again, say it again, it was predictable. All the teams to lose to, that's the team that probably has caused us some of the least amount of trouble in the 2 games that we've played them. They get a break of the ball for their goal and score with essentially their only shot on target. But again, we could have played 2 games on Sunday and still never scored. So
I don't think it's actually that harsh. Like I know, like you and Tam have both said they probably could play 2 or more games or whatever. Like, and maybe it's because I was pissed. But like, see, if you look at the total amount of shots on target, hit the woodwork, all that sort of stuff, it's fine margins when it comes to this sort of stuff. Better decision making. I don't think we were that far away. It's disappointing, but I didn't think we were that far away from being able to carve out something.
Aye, it was, and again, I think, like, for me, there can't be any doubts in any Hearts fan's mind after watching Sunday just how important Shankland is to Hearts. I'm not saying that he would have scored the goals or whatever, but he just seems to link everything. He seems to be the glue on the pitch that carries the instructions and carries the team. I think Braga looks a worse player without Shankland. I thought Kizzy looked probably one of the, no, I'm going to say the worst. That's not the thing about it, but it was one of his lesser performances on Sunday. And that's one of those things I wanted to ask you as well about we obviously drew with St Mirren, right? And obviously we played Dundee at home and battered them 4-0, and it kind of gets swept under the rug type thing with the changes that we made. But my big fear after the St Mirren game was that we'd do knee-jerk reactions. Obviously we played like 3 games in 6 or 7 days or whatever it was, and we made 6 changes on the game against Dundee, and obviously Kabori and all that scores whatever. But I felt that and then the next game we play, we try to bring Shankland and all that, we try to bring all the players back in, and we just came to have lost our cohesion that we'd praised how important it is. We went 6 games with the same starting 11, and the worry was that we're going to change everything, react to that get out of jail free card thing at St Mirren, and then I think we've kind of seen that a wee bit. Or is that harsh? Does anybody else feel that way? Or
no, I don't think it's harsh, to be honest. I think probably on the same page.
To be fair, I think you look at it, and we've all said it this season, like the squad depth we've got, I'd fully expect these boys to come in and still be good enough to have a performance. But there was times on Sunday where they just didn't even look like they'd even played together at points, and you're just like, it's a strange one. Kabori obviously had to come back in for Dundee United because he scored the 2, because then you would just ruin his confidence. But looking on it in hindsight, again, it probably wasn't the right decision. We should have stuck with the three that we'd started the week before, previously throughout the season. And Kabori come on, but it's one of those things. We've got a lot of strength and depth, and it's going to be tough to keep everyone happy. But
the front four, Kev, is a worry. In terms of, not a worry, they're all brilliant individually. We just try to get them all to work together, if you know what I mean. Like we're kind of shoehorn Kabori into positions that I don't think. I know Derek McInnes spoke before to say that actually Kabori says that his favourite position is to come in off the left. But I've not seen anything from him to suggest that that's the best place to have him. Through centrally seems like a better place for him to be, but we seem to be struggling to try and get that right mix of how we can get Kabori in the team, Kizzy in the team, Braga in the team, Shankland in the team. How do you solve it? Or do you think it's an issue?
We always knew it was going to be an issue, and you got to now add the Cheshnikov into that particular equation. You know, he comes in as of January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whatever it may be. I think he's supposed to be at the club this week or next, in regards to, I think he can start to actually do some training, but not directly with the first team, so he can work on fitness and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to have that, you know, that additional player. I don't suspect he is a player that they're looking at to sit on the bench. They'll be wanting to get as much out of him as we possibly can. And I know we always say it's a nice, you know, dilemma to be, you know, to have, but it's a difficult one to actually manage. And, you know, we don't know, of course, what conversations McInnes has been having with players like Kabori, Karjota even as well. You know, in regards to when you get your opportunity, boys, you've got to take your opportunity. And a little bit like what Tam said, you know, Kabori came in on that Dundee game, scored 2 goals. He's taken his opportunity. Do you drop him? Blow his confidence? It's a big, you know, it is a big aspect. But the other side of that is you never know what's going to happen in January. Someone might come in with a bid for Kizaridas, for example. And then before you know it, you're thinking, well, actually, this might be an opportunity. You know, you don't want to hold him back. You know, you look at small gains. That's a Tony Bloom sort of, that's his process, his way of actually improving the club, the depth of the squad, the player that you've got, is bring him in for little and sell him for as much as you possibly can. That could be the same for Braga, could be the same for a number of players.
Does the Chesnikov signing not solve a bit of the headache? Because you're looking at there, you have Kizaridas one side, Chesnikov the other, and he plays 2 of the 3 of Kabori, Shankland, Braga. Do you know what I mean? I think he's been moving Braga out there, trying to see if that could work. He's put Kabori out there to see if that can work. He's inverted and changed and had Kizzy on one side and Shankland will drift out there. I think the Chesnikov one might actually save him a bit of a headache, because you say, right, you are my wingers, Kizzy, Chesnikov, you are the wingers, and it's a fight between Braga, Shankland and Kabori to play through the middle. You know, the two of them, because he'll play two. He likes to try and play 4-4-2 or a variation of 4-4-2 as much as he can. Because that's when I seen the Dundee United lineup, I was like, "What? That is absolutely wild." We were playing 4-2-4. It was absolutely crazy. So
we might get to a position where we just play 3-7. Fuck it.
Well, that mate, points against Dundee United, that's what it was like. It was like a basketball match. It was just like, let's just go for it type thing. But yeah, I think that on Sunday it felt like they just weren't coherent. You know, I think the Braga, Shankland, Kizzy partnership, they're all kind of know each other's game, know where they're going to be, and we just need to settle on who plays on that other side. We've tried Blair Spittle, Harry Milnes floated in and out of different positions in there as well. It's just one of those ones that we just can't seem to nail down. So the Chesnikov one's hopefully one that solves those problems. And again, Tam, we've spoke about it at length, but the Halkett not being in our team makes such a huge difference. I think Craig Halkett and Benny must have some outrageous stats for games lost and won when they are and aren't playing, because I feel like we've only lost about like 6 games or something like that when Halkett and Benny play.
Aye, like in terms of them playing together, it must be something wild. I'll let Ando dig into that, but it must be. I would imagine it is something pretty mad. But aye, it just shows how important Halkett's been this season, to be honest. When he's fit and ready and the top of his game like he has been this season, he's a different player. I kind of felt bad for Kent in a way, but he didn't have the best of games at all on Sunday, but came in after a few weeks out. And then obviously Finlay had to go off as well. So we'll see what happens in a sense, but if Halkett's fit, he plays every week and he's that important at this point.
Yeah, and he'll be back. He's back for Saturday, isn't he?
It was just a 1 game suspension.
Aye, look, on Sunday we were all absolutely, everything's finished, the place is wrecked, sack the manager, get everything chucked out, blah blah blah. And now that we've reflected a wee bit, I think it was just because of it's what we lost in any Hearts fan, that I'm not looking at Celtic. It was more of looking at the fact that how close Rangers are now. You know, we had a 16-point advantage over Rangers when we beat Celtic. It's now 9 and they have a game in hand, and they only seem to play at Ibrox, which is really weird. They've got Ibrox on Thursday, they've got Ibrox on Sunday, where they play Falkirk. To be fair, Falkirk are like the surprise package. Them and Motherwell like the surprise package of the league so far. I think if Falkirk win on Sunday, they'll leapfrog Rangers in the league. But it was one of those ones where Sunday felt like a statement. I didn't want to say the different, but like being a wee club that's just enjoying being top of the league versus like a serious contender. But that was like, if you look back to the 06 season, which was the last time we split the Old Firm, the last time we started anywhere near where we are right now, we won those games. Like we had our statement wins, and that's not to say this group hasn't had statement wins, but we it just felt like Sunday was a big game. Sunday was a game where we really needed to go and put a statement down. You know, Rangers had won, Hibs had won, Celtic had won. It was up to us to go respond, and just felt like we were. I don't know if would it be fair to say that we couldn't handle the pressure, or was it just one of those days where we've had our luck? You know, the Livy win, the Hibs win, the Dundee United wins, all games where we probably didn't play our best but get 3 points. Is it just one of those ones that these come round? You know, you can only ride your luck for so long.
I think with just a little bit more decision making, I think we would have found ourselves in a better position. As you rightly say, you know, Milne has a bit more composure. He maybe just dinks it over the keeper or whatever, rather than hitting it as hard as he did and you know, taking a layer of paint off the crossbar. Similarly, with regards to Kabori, Kabori's had a chance. He's also had a chance earlier than the one that he missed, where I think personally, had he not taken an additional touch and just hit it first time, he would have had a better, potentially a better angle for strike at goal. And I know that we might come on and talk about it from a second half point of view, but there's a big discussion point around, you know, the what was or what could have been a potential penalty. I thought it was immediately. I seen it. You know, the keeper comes out, clatters Kabori, doesn't get the ball at all. If that's a defender, for example, going up for a header, misses the ball altogether, it's a foul to the opposing team. So why was that not even challenged? Why was that not even looked at? A number of questions. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not being bitter about it. I'm just, again, bringing it to the attention that there was a number of decisions, a number of things that happened on Sunday that just simply didn't work, didn't fall in our favour. Like, as you've already said, Livy, Hibs, Dundee United, should I say, away. You know, those are games that fell into that particular category of last minute goals and you know, getting the result.
And is Saturday must win?
I think it is, to be honest. Saturday's a bit of like an onion hanger, isn't it? It's like you get Motherwell, who, as you've said, are already the surprise package of one of so far this season, playing good football, getting a lot of kudos for the way they set up and the performances they're putting in. They've easily beaten Hibs the other night, and if you listen to any, not that I listen to a lot of podcasts, but there was somebody, I think it was Andy. No, it couldn't have been Andy Halliday because he plays for them. It was somebody on Clyde One. I was listening to one of the Clyde One phone-ins, and whoever the studio guest was basically saying that their hardest game, the hardest team they've faced, was Motherwell this season. And so I think it is, you need to go in there with a wee bit, pardon the phrase, big dick energy and muscle flex a wee bit, but it's going to be hard against a side that's well organised and well set up. In terms of the context of the league, and because you're getting into a really, really busy period over the Christmas and New Year. Games come thick and fast, but every game matters. I think, if I'm honest, yes, it is a must-win for us. We need to go in there, not only put in a good performance, but get the 3 points as well.
Yeah, Tam, it's went from we were kind of miles ahead of everybody but Celtic to now. I think Motherwell beat us on Saturday. It puts them something like 6, 7, 8 points behind us. I think we're the only 9 points behind us now or something.
The Rangers and Hibs are all in the same.
Aye, and they've played one game more. No, they've played the same amount of games as us. Now it's Hibs that have played a game more than everybody else in it after last night. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So that then opens the door to you're not. If we don't win on Saturday, I think we're in a huge fight for where we actually want to finish in the season. Because the problem that we have is we've started really, really fast, and everybody else has started slow. We are now slowing down as everybody else is picking up momentum. I think Rangers are 1-4 in the bounce, Celtic 1-4 in the bounce. Up until last night, Hibs had won, I think, every game, and since we beat them, they get beat off Rangers as well. Motherwell are winning, Falkirk are winning, and that's the thing that bugged me as well is that actually all the teams that I wouldn't have. Motherwell are the only team that we played this season where actually, if you'd walked away from that game being like, kind of deserved to get beat there. Every other, even the Celtic game, I was like, none of these teams are better than us. But Motherwell on that day, I know we talked about how it did seem overly exaggerated how good they were, but there was a 20-minute, 15-minute window where they were like prime Barcelona and we couldn't get near them. And that's what's disappointing about, Hibs went to St Mirren and beat them 3-0 easily. Then Falkirk go to Dundee United and beat Dundee United easily. Teams will go up to Pittodrie and beat Aberdeen easily. Hibs went there only a few games back and beat them. Finished 2-1 at the time, but it was 3-0 at one point until VAR chopped the goal off. Celtic and Rangers will beat Aberdeen. It just felt like one of those moments where actually, if we want to be proper in this moment, then we have to go on and at least don't get beat there. Go snatch a goal and go to there being like things just didn't go our way. And I think that was more of my worry with the Aberdeen one. Can happen, away games are different, but the Dundee United one was the one that stuck out. We've dropped, that's 2 games at home this season where we've failed to win, which is disappointing. What would you change for Saturday, Tam?
It's a weird one. To be honest with you, there's probably what I would change and what I could see happening would be a bit different. That right side, I would give Borchgrevink a run out, see how he gets on. I would even maybe put in somebody like definitely McEntee into the midfield if he's coming in, and maybe even try and match up and put a free in there, like Magnuson, Devlin and McEntee. And then you've got your front three of whatever, Kizarudas, Braga, Shankland would be the preference, depending on Shankland getting on. Although I've seen photos of him today training as normal, so that looks normal.
See, just to jump in, I know, Corbett, sorry, you're probably going to ask this, but see if you look at this game, right, the top 4 scorers in the Premier League are going to be playing in this game. So Shankland and Braga 2 and 3, and then Masa Winise, and I'll do this a death as it in Injustice, Stamatopoulos or whatever his name is.
And he never
Fourth.
even played last night.
Aye,
He was rested for Saturday.
So, well, there you go, right? So it shows you how much they're treating it with an element of seriousness. You can relax that player and keep him for a big game against the big team for Edinburgh. But the defence, that's the bit that's getting me the worry.
Well,
I don't know what is with.
I think you made a good point, Tam. I think the middle of the park is. I think we will change in there because of Tynecastle. We played with the two, and they had a man overload every single time in the middle of the park, which meant they popped us easily. And I think that we'll have to do something like that on Saturday because we can't afford to be outnumbered in there. They will pop round us every single time.
I do think we'll see those. I don't know if we will see three in the midfield, but I think it could be a case that look at the Rangers game, the Falkirk game. We put Milne out wide right to try and press when we didn't have the ball because they like to keep the ball. Could maybe see something going like that again because obviously Motherwell are similar in terms of possession-based football. Might be that, and then Kingsley back in defence. But yeah, I would like to see us sort of try and overload the midfield a bit more personally.
Well, to be honest with you, they did pop us. That's absolutely true. But they collapsed in the game because, Kev, we were aggressive. We stepped up. We got a yard closer to them than we had the whole game. So you might actually see us look more to try and start the game like we did at Ibrox. Get aggressive, get in their faces and agitate them.
I think that's one thing we've got in our armoury is a number of different ways in which we can approach a game. We do look a lot better when we are aggressive, when we are closing that space down. I get what Tam's saying around the fact they like to keep possession and move the ball about. And they've done that very, very well at Tynecastle. As you rightly say, there was that period of time where we couldn't get anywhere near them. But as soon as you close the space down, you give them the chance to actually have time on the ball. That's where you've seen a difference. And we were able to win the ball a lot higher up the pitch. With that, we were able to then start actually making better decisions as well. And it's one of those things, it feels like if you do have that more aggressive aspect to your game, your brain seems, or our brains anyway, seem to switch on a hell of a lot quicker. It seems to be sharper as well. So it's maybe just an overall aspect of, bring that game, bring that type of game, and with it, you'll reap the benefits.
Yeah, I think we'll maybe see a fight fire with fire type situation on Saturday. I think you might see us be more aggressive, try to be more on the front foot. I do think we'll change our shape. I think we will try and do something to get a foothold in the middle of the park because that's their engine room. That is where all of some of the stuff they passed around Hibs last night was embarrassing for Hibs watching it. Yeah, they were down to 10 men or whatever, but it was like, I think they were all laying passes after 25 minutes, which is just insane. So, yeah, we'll need to see where we're at. What about you guys?
The manager will clearly have a game plan as well. I don't know if you see his comments after the game, but he's specifically picked out Hanley, said they were going to press him for the start, let him have the ball, and then obviously look how that turned out for Grant Hanley in the end. So it's one of those things we need to go and really play our game. And after the last 4 games, dropping points in 3 of them, I think the main thing is seeing a reaction. We've not seen that reaction yet for dropping points, really.
Well, I think if it was like any match, if you don't think that when we beat Kelly or when we beat Celtic or when we played, like those things happen in every single game. Focus on that guy. We want their game plan is to leave him on the ball, but that's what happens in every team. Every single team, for the shittest team, the best team in the league, will have those type of plans. It's just that if you lose, no one wants to hear about it. Do you know what I mean? Like no one wants to talk about it. So it sounds great and amazing when you get the man sent off and you win the game. You say, "Oh, we targeted him." That's what the plan was all along. He's no some super genius guy that's thought about that. I know he looks like Lex Luthor, but it doesn't mean that he is some super villain just because he's come up with a plan to target Grant Hanley, who is fucking dog shit.
Glad somebody said it.
Aye, like horrendous. But anyway,
targeting Grant Hanley is like going for the weakest gazelle in the
it's like going after you, Sam. It's too easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Right, what about you, Tam? Kev, what's your thoughts on Saturday? You feel it's must win?
For me, it does. For me, it does feel like a must-win game, especially given the way Sunday's result went. I'm just talking about the actual result rather than anything else. The press I don't think the press were that bad, with regards to the defeat. However, you lose 2 on the trot, then all of a sudden they will be, that's it, it's all over. Exactly the same as what Aberdeen did last season, blah this, blah that, blah the next thing. If you come out, especially after Motherwell won the game last night, and they've been playing pretty decent football, and you go out, not saying it'll be a statement win of anything or any nature, but if you go out and you win that game by the odd goal, then all of a sudden you've put pressure back on Celtic, who don't play until Sunday. Again, a little bit of pressure back on Rangers. So that's, to me, where Saturday's game and winning Saturday's game becomes really, really important. And from that side of things, I don't think that'll be lost on McInnes.
Tam?
We're always going to get beat at some point. So if we want to do something sort of special this season and not the normal, these are the games we need to be winning. We've got not a great record at Fir Park in the past. So I think it is at this point we do need to win. And Kev makes a good point. Both of the teams playing, Rangers and Celtic playing on Sunday, just gives us that extra advantage again.
Also, it's one of those things where we play Motherwell, who are behind us, Falkirk play Rangers, who are behind us, and Celtic play Hibs, who are behind us. So it's an opportunity for, if you win and put your 3 points on the board straight away, then we are either 3 points further ahead of Hibs, 3 points further ahead of Celtic, 3 points further ahead of Rangers, or 3 points further ahead of Falkirk. Not that all of those teams will be in it. The Hibs were absolutely dog shit last night, and they were horrendous against Dundee as well. But it's one of those things about, if it's Celtic would go and win, as daft as that sounds, Celtic would go win. So I feel that for what we want to do, let's not forget that only 4 weeks ago we were talking about it would be a catastrophe of a season if we finished behind Rangers, given where we were. Well, if we don't win on Saturday, we will be behind Rangers by the time we play them at Tynecastle on the 20th of December. We will be behind Rangers because they're only 9 behind with a game in hand, which potentially goes to 6. If we lose, they win. Like, they're only 3 points behind with wherever it is. I know that's all if Man had balls and all that type of stuff, but that's what we have to be looking at. We have to take it that Celtic and Rangers are going to win. That's it. And what everybody else has been saying, we've been laughing at Charlie Mulgrew and all this stuff, but this is what everyone's been talking about. When the pressure
as well, like away the game midweek, home to Falkirk, it'll probably going to be fairly easy for them. Away to Dundee United, a little bit stern, but imagine they'll shake out with a win. Then away to Kilmarnock, then home to Hibs. I didn't see any risk there for them.
Yeah, we've just got to, like I said, we've just got to focus on us and do what we need to do. And Saturday's a great opportunity to go and stake a claim that, like you said, we're never going to go the full season and win every single game, but it shows a bit of that mental fortitude that we talked about. This team having guts and abundance with the fact that they can keep going and win games and all that stuff. If they can bounce back after a disappointing result and then go, any win there is going to be a statement win, given how well Motherwell have been playing this season. So, yeah, I think it's as close to must win as you can possibly get. I was going to, I don't know if you addressed it at Dundee United, but I always want to talk about one last thing before we gee it up, unless there's anything else you want to talk about Sunday or the game Saturday.
And we've covered everything, really.
Move on. It's in the rear view.
One of the things that jumped off the page for me against Dundee United was, if we want to be, so whatever happens this season, Tony Bloom never came and said he was going to win the league after one season. What we're doing is laying the foundations of getting the recruitment right, getting the behind the scenes right, getting the structure right to go on and win trophies, because you need all of that stuff in the background to sustain a culture shift, a momentum shift in a football club, to break mentalities, to get where the club needs to be. And, so it's been great that we've started this. And this one feels a bit like, if we're going to do it, probably now feels like the time to do it, given that Rangers were a mess. Rangers just sacked their CEO and sporting director. Celtic are a bit of a mess right now. And it looks like they're going to hire a manager that I don't think is going to succeed in the role, given his background is all MLS, and I've spent 2-3 years watching Charlotte, and the MLS is absolute dog shit. I don't think he's going to be able to handle the pressure of managing Celtic. So we have an opportunity now. But one of the things that jumped off that Celtic and Rangers have an advantage over us is that they're used to knowing what it takes to win. So that's especially at home against Dundee United, I felt like the crowd had a huge part to play, and we never. For about 55 minutes onwards, it was so nervous, so quiet, everybody was terrified. And I think if Hearts want to be serious about winning titles, that has to be addressed. Because I'm looking at, so mirror it to this Saturday, there's going to be nearly 5,000 away fans in that end. We all know, because we've been in the away end at Easter Road, what it's like when that flick, when the switch is flicked and you go, you know that you're sucking them in. You know that they understand that they're getting a reaction from you, and they can feel it. You're almost willing them down this end to be like, come on, we can get a goal. We'll get that on Saturday if we're still in the game in that second half. Look at the performance at Kilmarnock in the second half, shooting into 4,500 Hearts fans. We score 2 goals, we win the game, the players love it. On that, at home, I just felt like we were at that point where we've all been there, Kev, and Tam, I don't know if you were there, but I remember what it was like, got to Celtic Park in 2006 when we played Celtic in a midweek game, might have been after the split, and it was a game that they knew if they'd beat us, they were going to win the league. I think John Hartson scored twice to beat us 2-0, I think. But the crowd on that day was outrageous for them. They get behind the team. Look at them on European nights. They back the team throughout. And I think on that Saturday, or the Sunday actually, when we played Dundee United, the club need to address that Tynecastle is a myth. Imagine that Sunday, you're 1-up, struggling, then they get a goal back and you need back into you 45 minutes, shooting into 3,500 Hearts fans standing, safe standing. It's a singing stand. It's an away end at home for Hearts, sucking that team in to come in and score at this end. Make it like the Kop, make it like the yellow wall at Borussia Dortmund or whatever. The club have to do something about that, and the fans have to realise that actually if we're going to do something special, we've got a part to play. I remember the Aberdeen game, the Champions League la night with Takis. We were obviously 1-up, get a penalty, and Aberdeen were battering us for the last 15 minutes. It was literally backs to the wall, defending, hoping that we could see it out, and the crowd were phenomenal. It's the best I've probably ever been inside Tynecastle, because they understood, shit, we have a part to play here. And I felt like on that Sunday at Dundee United, it felt a bit like, go in and entertain us. And actually the team needed us to be like, go and get us over the line, because we're struggling here. And that needs to be addressed, that if we are going to be serious title contenders, these things make a difference. I've said it before, because I've had the inside track before. Rangers hate playing at Ibrox. They hate it. They can't handle the pressure of playing at Ibrox because of the expectations of the crowd or whatever. And anybody that knows a player that plays for Hearts right now will tell you that they love Tynecastle when it's like Celtic, when it's like Hibs, when it's bouncing. They absolutely hate it and detest it when it's like how it was against Dundee United. And again, if you lined the players up and asked them, right, what do you want? Do you want 175 to 300 suits behind the goal, having sticky toffee pudding and listening to Gary Locke and Scott Wilson tell jokes? Or do you want 3,500 pissed up Hearts fans going absolutely mental in that stand? I know what one they'll pick. I know what one they'll pick. They don't care if it's £300 a ticket and it makes the club money. The club will make more money if we win trophies. If we are successful, they'll make more money doing that than they will for selling sticky toffee pudding. They need to fix it. That stand behind the goal has to become safe standing and an actual active home away end at home, because that would have made a big difference against Dundee United. So again, I know, no criticising Hearts fans. You pay your money, you can do whatever you want. But I felt that Sunday, everything was flat. Players were nervous, we were nervous, crowd was nervous, and it just translated onto the pitch, and it just felt like we were never going to score because everybody was too scared to actually try something in case we lost, if you know what I mean. So,
see, the thing is with that is, excuse me, like, I've been a Hearts fan a couple of years longer than you have, right? And Kev a couple of decades more than me. But it's a hard habit to break. If you know what I mean, it's like as much as you would love every single guy in your row or person in your row and in front of you and behind you, just to stand up when things get a wee bit tough and go, like, actually, right, this is what you do. But it's I don't know why. It's just for maybe the last 10 or 15 years. That's probably just been Hearts' overall thing in general. It's going to take another wee bit of success, like tangible success. And I'm not talking about just sitting at the top of the league for the whole season until the end of November. Like, you're going to have to bring a trophy back and all that sort of stuff before I think you'll probably see some sort of sizable uptick in that sort of like baseline of positivity within the fan base. It's a difficult one to move the dial on, if I'm being honest. I don't know how you do it, but
yeah,
that would be a class idea, though, if you created a maroon wall.
Here's a question. What are the games that stand out for you? Genuinely, the games that stand out, as Corbett said, is your games against Hibs, the games against Celtic, games against Rangers, European nights. The tendency, right, especially where we sit or where we are in Section G, no doubt it's the same now, lower end, that, right behind the goals where the ultras actually are. They're standing. Standing brings a different atmosphere to a game of football. Simple as that. That's why you've got your yellow wall with your safe standing and everything else, because it generates a totally different atmosphere inside a football game, inside a football ground. You called it there with regards to Kilmarnock. 4,500 Hearts fans at Kilmarnock. Nobody was sitting down.
Yeah, it'll be the same on Saturday, Kev.
Exactly the same on Saturday. That is what makes a big, big difference, in my opinion. Right? That is just my opinion. No doubt there'll be folk on kickback calling me every day.
But Kev, that's always been my problem, right? When I remember being young and going to the football, and my dad being like every other person's dad, thinking, I know where I'm not going with my boy. We're not going in the shed. We're not going in the corner. We're not going in underneath the Capitol decorators bit, because we know that that's no for me and a 4-year-old. So we're not gone there. So we know that the family enclosure is what used to be the lower main stand bit. And that, for me, that's all it takes. Is if there's 15,500, 16,000 season ticket holders, the Gorgie holds 3,400 fans. There will be 3,400 fans inside Tynecastle every single Saturday that want to stand. So give them a stand to stand in. Give them an opportunity to reclassify the stands. Say, right, guys that are up in the back of N, the guys that are up in the back of G, the guys that are in lower N, we're going to build safe standing in the Gorgie. It's only £250,000, by the way, because I've had the quotes, I've had the companies come through and look, and we've been to Brighton and see what they did and all that stuff. It's £250,000 to fully install 3,500 rail seating inside the Gorgie stand. Like, people, if that's what you do, if you said like a grace period to be like, look, we're reclassifying all the stands. So, all hospitality is going in the main stand, all the family section's gone in the Roseburn, and the Wheatfield and the rest of the main stand, other than the middle bit, is for like your guys that just want to go to the football, didn't want to stand, just want to watch the game. The 3,500 get folk that want to stand, sing, get wrecked, day displays, wave flags, whatever you want it to be, that's that stand that's behind the goal. And that becomes the stand. You say there's a grace period. All season ticket holders, you've got 6 months to the end of the season to indicate what part of the stadium you want to sit in. Do you want to move to the safe standing section, blah, 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 and then you just move everybody around. Like, and I know you're going to get people that go, I've sat in that seat since 1958, I'm not moving, but fine. That's absolutely sound. But for the greater good of what people want, because that's what the players want. That's what the players want. Now, Kev, you'd made a good point about the derby jumps off the page at us because it is our league winning games. They're the ones that matter to us. When you beat Hibs, you could be 8th in the league, but you beat Hibs, that's you won the league, because that's all that matters, that you're above them. If we're going to be serious about winning trophies and winning titles, every single game has to be won, which means we've got an active part to play. It means that your Tuesday nights at home to Kilmarnock actually mean something. They actually mean something, because that 3 points could be the difference between second and first, third and second, whatever it may be. So all your home games become massively important. And that's why if you can get a fortress, you can get a place that the players look forward to going and playing in, then that for me is an absolute no-brainer. Like, but the club need to get serious and sit down and think, what do we want here? Because, you know, the people that wanted it to be a safe space and grass and sit and tartan rugs and all that sort of stuff leave in December. They're leaving the board in December. So we need to move with it and be like, right, cool, let's now focus on getting Tynecastle back. Let's focus on getting, because our manager talks about it all the time. He wants blood and thunder. He wants everything for the stands. He wants you swearing, getting opposition abuse that doesn't cross the line, etc. The players want it. They've talked about it's great, but we want more with the club up to date, because that will be the difference between a draw at home to Dundee United and, you know, a last minute winner or whatever. Because again, the Craig Halkett goal, we all know, we've spoke about it at length. They made substitutions to see out a 0-0 because that's a big result for them. That they kept him like 4 games with foot defeat against us. That's massive for them. They could release a DVD. We're like, actually, we need to win. So we made substitutions to win, and everybody was willing us to go win, and we win. So something has to happen.
Here's a question for you.
On you go, Kev.
I was just going to say, in regards to that, do you think next Saturday's game against Celtic, and we'll talk about that next week, but do you think the fact that they won't have that corner will have a difference? It did 2 years ago, in the game that Shankland and Kingsley scored. There was no Green Brigade in that corner. That'll be exactly the same a week on Saturday. Do you think that makes a difference for that game?
100%.
We weren't title contenders at that game. We won't. So they'll get into the stadium some way. They'll try and be there, and the other fans that are there will get involved. You know, they'll understand that. Say we do lose on Saturday and they win on the Sunday, you know, and they're only a point behind, knowing that if they beat us, if things go their way and they can go 2 points in front, they'll be up for it, because again, they're the games where they understand that this matters. You know, these are the games where actually it's no just sit on your hands and wait and hope to be entertained. This is actually, we need to get behind the team because we need to win here, and that's what it is. It's just a learning thing for everybody. You know, we've had good runs. We all remember what Tynecastle was like. Firework Phil was getting fireworks going off all over the place. Tynecastle was absolutely rocking for that season in 06, because we felt something big was happening, and it made a huge difference. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to making sure that we prioritise making Tynecastle a bear pit.
See, for safe standing, do you need to apply for a license for that, or can you just do it?
No, as long as you use the regulated, signed off equipment or whatever it is. We obviously, I think St Johnstone are now going to install safe standing. Rangers are this season or next season turning their whole Copeland Road end or whatever it is at the front is all going to be safe standing. Celtic and the Green Brigade are desperate to get behind the goal at the other side from there in that corner. They want the other side and want that whole bit to be safe standing. Hibs have obviously got safe standing. Kilmarnock have got safe standing. So
I didn't realise
Falkirk got their bit as well.
Right?
Falkirk don't have safe standing. But again, we are so slow to react. We could have been one of the first clubs. We could have been really forward thinking with this when we approached the club 4 years ago to start talking about this. Like I said, when I took my boss to the Beshleaker game, and I had told him for a year how amazing the atmosphere was at Tynecastle, and it was like got a pyjama party. It was horrendous. And I was like, we've got to do something about this, because if we don't, Tynecastle's just got to die. It's an absolute myth that it's. When people come up and say, "Oh, the atmosphere was amazing," I'm like, "Well, was it?" Like, I remember when it was proper mental, when it was like proper bouncing. I remember Bordeaux. I remember Stuttgart. I remember Liverpool. I remember all the unbelievable nights. The Robbo when we'd knocked Celtic out, when Andy Thorne had to come up in the emergency loan. Remember, like, all those games, they're all unbelievable. We all remember that the place was absolutely bouncing. Jose Katongo, we scored the equaliser in 98. You had the Gorgie was on the pitch. The Gorgie had a pitch invasion celebrating. Like, we're just nowhere near that at home now. There's a few pockets, NG, and obviously the Ultras are where they are trying to make that. Hearts just have to properly realise that we need the crowd. That makes
that's a really good point. Like, because if I didn't realise, just when you've rhymed off that many teams or clubs, that have got safe standing in the Premier League, you think, fucking hell. Like, but I know Celtic have got it, but because that's well publicised, because everything that's happened there fairly recently with them. But I had no idea it was as prevalent across all the different clubs, and that does feel like a massive own goal, that you're not been progressive enough to be on the front foot, to be trying one of the change makers on this. And
when you're in the same, we're in the same bracket as Livy, Dundee and Ross County when it came to last season or whatever, is the only 3 clubs in the Premier League that don't have some form of new match day experience for their fans. Rangers, St Mirren, St Johnstone, Dundee United all have their open pulley system for doing displays. Motherwell as well. Motherwell did a display on last night for the Hibs game on our open pulley system. I've had 2 companies at Tynecastle give us quotes, measure it up. It's not expensive to have our open pulley system behind the goal that would bring up tifo displays, etc. It's not hugely expensive today. Like, for example, we asked Motherwell on Saturday if we could do an away day display, a paper tifo. On Saturday, it was only going to be about 1,100 quid to get the 4,600 bits of paper to do the display. We asked Hearts if they would go halfway, chip in. They said no. So, like, we are well behind the 8 ball when it comes to everybody else of making the match day experience better. Celtic are building the Celtic way. Again, you talk about things that make a difference. I went to Hearts a few years ago to be like, you should publicise the route and make the team go to the Oriam and then get the team bus along Gorgie Road for derbies, Celtic, Hibs, day what Liverpool day, what Man City day what Real Madrid day what all the teams day. Have the fans, we could do smoke bombs, pyro, welcome the team to Gorgie. Do you know what I mean? Make them park on McLeod Street and then walk down the plaza into the main stand and into the ground that way. Make it a spectacle, build it up. You watch Hearts when we go to Celtic Park next Saturday. We have to park on the Celtic way and then walk down that path with Celtic fans either side of us. It's like walking the gauntlet. We'll get absolutely hounded with abuse, all our players, because they make them walk into the stadium. Hearts, because we're a nice, friendly family club, we allow the away team to come into Tynecastle via the back door, so no one sees them, no one knows where they are. Same with Rangers. You play Rangers, you park at the front door at Ibrox and you're made to get off that bus with fans all around you giving you dogs abuse. They're the little one-ups that teams get before they even play a team. And we are so far removed from it, it's mental. You imagine being a Hearts player, coming down the Gorgie Road and there's 4,000-5,000 Hearts fans all lining the street, pyro, setting you off. You'd be like, come on boys, look at the size of the club we play for. This is massive. Look what it means. We just don't do it, and we're not interested in doing it because we have to shift from making money for boys in suits, sitting in fancy seats, drinking fancy pints, listening to shite old stories from 15 years ago, and actually start focusing on actual get boys and girls and people in there that want to stand, sing, shout, all that sort of stuff. Celtic are building a purpose-built venue as a match day. They're building a hotel in the Celtic way, but they're also building a venue to house exactly that pre-game. So again, like have a band in there, tables in there, TVs in there, a bottle bar, all that sort of stuff, and that's a fan zone before the game. Rangers built Edmondson House. They've done the exact same thing. They have a venue now where before every game they have somebody in there performing. People can go in there and drink. How many times have you watched, Ando, it's your neck of the woods, but when Newcastle play at home at St James's Park in the Champions League, they're always filming inside the fan zone that Newcastle built outside the stadium. Like,
that's a really good example, by the way, because it's just outside the office that I work in, and it's right in the shadow of St James's. Excuse me, just outside the Sandman Hotel, and basically it's like it looks almost temporary. It's loads of just shipping containers that have all been stacked up on top of each other. There's a fancy word for it. I forget what it's called now, but it's absolutely class. See, on a match day, you go in there, it is mobbed. There's hundreds of people, if not thousands, well, that's literally thousands of people, but it's absolutely brilliant. It's like there's an exclusion zone, so you can't get past it in the motor or whatever, or it's closely guarded. And but it dovetails into a point that I was just going to make, or I was going to say a second ago. Aberdeen have got that alcohol trial that's going ahead against Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock later on in December. Like, they've had to petition and apply for that, and that's exactly what you're talking about, which is a progressive step towards making the fan experience a wee bit better. Right? I know whatever disaster happened, and it's really sad that loads of people died a generation ago because some people couldn't behave themselves on the bevy. But like, the time has come now to be able to just take those rules and burn them to the ground and just adopt the same thing. English football, I know it's full of English football tourists, like people that just want to go there for their Instagrams or whatever, right? Especially the bigger teams like Man United and Liverpool. But the more provincial clubs, like your Newcastle, like your Brighton, like whoever, they allow people in, get bevied up. And when was the last time you heard of a disaster happening there? Never. It just doesn't happen, right? So experience from across the UK tells us that you can get away with doing these things. You're absolutely right in the sense that Tynecastle and Hearts as a club need to be absolutely better, but we need to petition the government for a legislation change to allow this sort of shit to be done a lot easier. And that's where Hearts need to be a big boy or a big girl voice when it comes to that sort of stuff and try and lead it from the front. And you're right, we just don't get that just now.
Yeah, and we've got, like, I always think about, said before, the Gorgie suites there in that stand. You could lay it out, set it up properly, have big long tables like the darts, have tellies all at it, have bottle bars, have pre-poured jugs, whatever it is, so that it's quick. Anybody that's a season ticket holder and is in that stand gets access to it before the game. You can pour out into the stand. You serve bevy until half an hour before the game kicks off, and you can get into the stadium from that bit. You look, if the Ultras said, right, we're doing a march for the Shandon, the next home game, there'll be like 3,000 people waiting outside the Shandon to do a march. People will go to it. If you build it, they will come, as Wayne's World told us, right? But
well, it was Kevin Costner in the baseball film. Like.
Field of Dreams. But, by that, it would work. And to go back, Aberdeen are a great example, right? You're right. The reason that Aberdeen all of last season had safe pyro, they have the tifo displays every single game, they've got the flags in every single stand, is because the guy that's been selling all of the material to all of the Ultras groups in Scotland and the UK is an Aberdeen fan. And Aberdeen, because of Burrows, Alan Burrows, the guy that is he's like the CEO or whatever it is, the guy that was class at Motherwell's now at Aberdeen, he approached the guy and basically employed him. Said, I'll give you a budget of X amount of money, and every single home game, you do what you need to do. So that's why they have every single game, they have some form of match display, because they were progressive and went, actually, this matters. How many times have you been to Aberdeen and there's been like 8,000 folk there? or whatever. They've now got the red shed, as pathetic as that name is, or whatever, but they've got behind the goal and it looks class. So, like, there is a want for it out there, and you need to start looking at, because you'll drive both customers away. That's what I always talk about before. This will be my last point before I bore you all to death, right? But I even said it to Hearts and used the example when I went to Hearts. There's a video of the Aberdeen fan when they're at Ross County, the woman going, they're not in their seats, right? They two customers are both right. That lady is right. They are in her seat. But that's because they just sell tickets to anybody. But the young boys that were there, they're well within their rights to, but I know, but we want to stand and create an atmosphere and you're just going to sit and no get involved. Both of them can coexist at the football. Neither of the two of them should supersede each other. But because the way football works now, all we're interested in is selling tickets. They don't care who we sell tickets to. So you can get a group of 15 boys, girls and whoever that have get mashed on the bus on the way up. They're absolutely steaming. They want to stand, sing, get behind the team. And you could have a mum, dad and the kids. They could all be in the same row. And that's like, just because they just sold tickets, that's just what they did. So I just like to go back to my original point. We have to play our part if we want to win titles and that. And I thought that game at home against Dundee United, I just felt that we were way too nervous, way too thing. We have a part to play. Saturday, the away end needs to be absolutely bouncing. We probably have half the attendance there. I think that Motherwell only got about 4,000 season ticket holders or whatever. So it's a huge game, and don't forget the part that we play as fans as well. Right, boys, we've rambled for long enough. Hopefully we'll see you again on Sunday. We can talk about
predictions.
Hearts, get back on the winning track. Kev, I was just about to say that, but thank you very much for being the wank that you are. Let's do prediction. Kev, you can go first.
I'm hoping for an actual bit of a reaction to Sunday's defeat. Bit better decision making. I will say it'll be a close one, and I will go 2-1 Hearts.
Ando.
Onion hanger. Don't think we've got it in the locker. 2-0 Motherwell.
Tam.
I'll flip it and go 2-0 Hearts.
Okay, and I'll go what I always do. Desmond, 2-2. Right, boys, I'll see you all on Sunday. Thanks, everybody on YouTube. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Cheers. See ya.
Gorgie Rules.